Oh, let me do a focus test. Woo! Hey guys, I'm Trina and today is Top 5 Wednesday. Thumbnail. Top 5 Wednesday was created by Ginger Reads Laney, and I will have a link in the description box to the Goodreads page where you can find a list of all the channels participating. This week's topic is the top 5 books that made you think, and this is such a great topic because if a book doesn't make you think, what is the point? At number 5 is Uninvited by Sophie Jordan. This is a book about a possible future where scientists have pinpointed the gene that is responsible for violent behavior. Our main character in the book finds out she has the violent gene, and before that she basically was like top student, wouldn't hurt a fly, and now all of a sudden everybody thinks that at any moment she's just gonna snap and become this horrible serial killer. So like, how does her behavior change because of the expectations that society puts on her? This book was a great exploration of the idea of, do you become what society already thinks you are? At number 4, I'm going to put If I Stay by Gail Foreman. The story is about a girl who gets into a car accident and basically is hovering between life and death, and she is going through learning that the rest of the people in the car with her didn't make it or are very seriously hurt, and she's just thinking like, what does she have left to stay for? And then also there are some flashbacks of very important moments in her life, things that maybe she should stick around for. And the thing that was so touching to me in this book was the other characters, her other family members that come to visit her as she is recovering, and of course she's in a coma and she's unconscious, but the reader gets to hear what they are saying to her, and you've got some characters that are begging her to stay, and then you have other characters saying, sweetie, it's okay to let go and not be in pain anymore. And when I read this book, it really did make me think about, I don't know, life. What it means to really be alive, things that have made a big impact in your life, what it means to stay or go and be present in the moment. This book really impacted me. For number 3, I'm going to go with, no surprise here, Not a Drop to Drink by Mindy McGinnis. Basically, there's no more electricity, there's no more running water, and water becomes the form of currency in this world pretty much. And the lifestyle portrayed in this book was very much like kind of pioneer, living off of the land, very survivalistic. And what this book really made me think of was, what would we do today? Because our culture is so dependent on electronics and gadgets, and what would we do if one day there just were no more cell phones, internet didn't work, there was no power, no running water? What would we do? What would happen? And reading it made me feel more human and just realize like what all we do take for granted. And it was also very impactful because not only is this like a realistic possible future, because there's not anything supernatural in it. It literally is just, hey, the power went out and we no longer have water and electricity. What are we gonna do? But this is where we actually came from. People were doing this for years before modern society. That was just the way of life. It very much opened my eyes and made me want to take a whole bunch of survival classes because I would be toast in the event that this ever happened. For number 2, I'm going to go with The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I read somewhere a long time ago that she was inspired to write The Hunger Games when she was flipping through the TV stations one day and she went between a reality show and like war coverage, and that kind of spawned the idea. I don't know how accurate that is because it has been a while since I read that, and that just really struck a chord with me. Like, we do kind of have a fascination with reality TV. There are so many very important themes in The Hunger Games, I think, at least I got out of it, but to me, the thing that it really made me think about was entertainment. How far do we go for entertainment? But I always think of this book when I think of books that have made me think. And the number 1 book on my list of books that have made me think is Noggin by John Corey Whaley. This story is about this kid who is 16 years old and he has some really bad illness and his body is basically wasting away. So he signs up to be cryogenically frozen until they can find a cure. He wakes up 5 years later to find out that they have unfrozen him, but they can only save his head. And they have attached his head to the body of a guy who had brain cancers, and that guy had also signed up so that his body could be used for science in case anyone ever needed it. So the main character is 16 years old in his brain, but it's 5 years later. He hasn't finished high school, so so he's got to go back to high school, but all of his peers from before have already graduated. His old girlfriend and his old best friend have totally moved on. They haven't talked to him in 5 years, but to him it was only yesterday. This sounds crazy, but I loved this story, and it really made me think about science and ethics and like identity and age. There is a whole lot to chew on in this book, and it really surprised me at how much it really tackled and made me think about, instead of just this hokey premise, because sounds a little ridiculous, but I ended up really loving it. So those are the top 5 books that have made me think, and let me know down in the comments below what books you've read that have really made you just think about the world. And if you've read any of the books on my list, let me know also if you caught any of the same themes, or if they impacted you as much as they did me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye! And he doesn't know, his